guys, welcome back to my channel. Karis here if this is your first time. So today's video is an eyeshadow tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how to place colors, how to blend, how to cut your crease. So stay tuned. And just before we jump right into this video, if you're not yet subscribed, click the subscribe button, join the family. I'll jump right into this video. So I've already done my eyebrow and I've prepped my skin. I've done my skin work offline. I'm going to be using my Louise base in Royal and also the Urban Decay Born to Run palette for this eyeshadow look today. The first thing first is to prime your eyelids. So I'm using the Louise base in Royal to prime my eyelids, and I'm using this brush from Brew Techniques to blend it. Just a nice soft brush there. You do not need the Louise base. If you do not have one, you can use a concealer, and then you set it with a translucent powder, so you can use that as a prime. But it's important to prime your lid. Next is I'm going to be using this fluffy brush that flares out to blend the first color, which is a transition shade. I'm going to be using this orange shade here. Tap it on my lid like so, just above the fold. So you tap it above the crease and then you start blending. This is the transition shade. It's really important to use a transition shade because it helps you blend the colors you're going to add on top of the crease and on the crease. It helps you blend those colors together, so it's a nice gradient. Transition shade is really, really important. That's what I'm doing first. So that's the first step to applying your eyeshadow. So I'm nicely blending this out with a fluffy brush. This brush is from AliExpress, just a nice flared out fluffy brush, and nicely blending that in place. After that, the next shade I'm going to be using with a small brush, it's the dark brown shade. This I'm going to put on the outer V with this small pencil brush. Tap it in place there just to make sure it's well, it's there, and then I'm going to blend that out. So I'm using a small brush just to tap it like so, and then I'm going to go in with this brush. This is my Stigma E25 brush. This is a nice blending brush. This is what it looks like. I'm going to be using this to blend where the brown meets with the transition shade. So where the brown color meets with the orange color, I'm going to softly blend in a nice circular motion. And I'm holding the brush just at the end, like you see me show there. Because when you hold it at the end, the blend is seamless. Because if you hold the brush too close to the front, it's a bit too harsh. So yeah. It's key to hold the brush at the end and blend it ever so slightly, just like so. The outer V area into the crease, and I'm just blending. Go in back with a brown shade, and then I'm gonna just tap it in again, because I blended it a lot, and sometimes when you blend it tends to take a bit of the color away. So I put in a bit more, and then I'm just gonna go in with the other brush as well to kind of further blend, because you want it dark but you don't want it too dark, so you want it to have a nice gradient. So a nice gradient before you cut the crease. So I keep kind of going back between the orange and the dark brown just to make sure I've got enough color in there, but not too dark. Next, I'm going with this fluffy brush and I'm just blending out the edges just to make sure there is no harsh line anywhere and is well diffused and in place. Next, I'm gonna go back in with my concealer for my brow. I saw that the colors have kind of come through to my arch area, my brow arch, so I'm literally putting back the nice colors on my arch, because sometimes you can blend the shades just up to your eyebrow, and that's what I did. So I'm kind of putting back my highlight color on my arch, and I'm blending that in with a powder, just putting back in some setting powder, and I'm just further blending in. So I'm going back in with the colors, the orange blender, and I'm just blending just to soften it a bit. So you can always go back in and kind of, if you do your eyeshadow too much like I did, you can go back with the orange like I'm doing now, and I'm just blending it in place. Back into the dark brown and into the orange again, just to make sure everything is in place. I'm going to be using this NYX number 14 flat brush to cut the crease, and I'll be using the P. Louise base in Room O to kind of cut my crease. Like I said, you don't need the P. Louise base. You can use a concealer to cut your crease, but it's good to cut your crease above the fold. You see me cutting it just above my crease. So if you open your eyes, you see that fold, that's the crease. So you go just a tiny bit above it. And I try to open my eyes wide just to make sure the crease is at the right place, just above it. Because if it's not above it, if you cut it just on the fold, it's good. If it creases, it's just gonna mess up your crease. And then it's also good to cut it above, so when you open your eyes, it's it makes your eyes look open. Because if you cut it just on the fold, on the crease, it doesn't look good as well. You can't see the eyeshadow you've applied as well. So I've kind of gone overboard with the cut crease, so I'm going to clean it up with this tiny eyeliner brush. So I'm literally just tidying up my crease because my crease was not crisp enough. So I'm going in with a very clean brush, nothing on the brush, and I'm literally just making sure the line is a bit decent. So that's what I'm doing. So I clean up the brush with a tissue paper, and then I go in and I just kind of make it a bit crisp, just like so. So you don't have to be perfect. If you make a mistake, you can go back in just with a clean brush, just like so. Now you can see me blending in the lid just to make sure it's well blended before I start applying my colors. First color I'm going to apply is this gold color there. I'm going to do that just in the middle there, just on the center of the eyelids. That's where I'm putting that color in with a very small flat brush. You can use any small flat brush you own, but I'm concentrating that color just in the center of my lid space, just like so, and I'm tapping it in. Nicely tapping that shade in. Take your time when doing this because you don't need to rush. After doing that in the middle of my lid, just like so, I'm gonna go in with this next color. This is a tiny bit lighter than that first gold. I'm gonna put this just in front of the gold. So I'm gonna take it inward as well and just in front, just like so. I'm going to tap that color in. So I'm going from light, light to lighters. I'm just going to go, this is the second light shade. So the first one was the gold, and this is the second light shade in the palette. I'm just tapping that just in front just to give it a nice gradient. Then this is a lighter shade. I think it's the lightest, and I'm just doing that just in the inner part. So I'm tapping this with a very small brush. I'm just tapping that in the inner type part of the eyelid. I'm trying to make this a bit as precise as I can. Next, I'm going in with this shade here just to blend the end. This shade looks like the transition shade, so it looks like the brown. It looks a bit like the orange mixed together, so I'm using that to kind of blend that area where the concealer ended, where my primer ended, just to make sure it blends nicely. So I'm kind of screwing up in circles just a tiny bit. Where the dark bar, I'm just applying on the messy edge of the concealer, just making sure it's well blended. Going back in with the dark color there, the gold color, I'm just making sure that blends in. Going in with the orange, make sure everything is properly kind of diffused in place. Okay, so this is what the eyes are looking like so far. I'm gonna go in with my Mabrook black eyeliner pencil. I'm gonna use this pencil to kind of put in a tiny line. This step is optional, you don't have to do it, but I just want to put a tiny line, kind of do a light wing with this liner. So I'm just putting this pencil just on top. I'm also gonna use this to do in my waterline as well, just to darken my waterline a bit. And then I'm gonna kind of smudge this liner. I'm gonna use my brush a small tiny brush to smudge it so it's nicely applied. I'm gonna smudge my lower lash line, going in with a brown shade for the smudger. So I'm kind of replicating what I did on the top of the eyes on the lower lash line like so. I'm also gonna go in with the orange shade and for the smudger, just like so. I'm using a flat small brush. I'm gonna go in with the ABH mascara and the lash brag, so Anastasia Beverly Hills mascara, the lash brag mascara on the upper and the lower lash line. And then I'm gonna fix my lashes. I got the lashes from AliExpress. I'm gonna be fixing the lashes. Then I'm gonna go in with my Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder. This is in the shade Precious Petals. I'm gonna put this in the inner tear dot and just under the lid, just in the first part, just like so. We've come to the end of this video. I hope you learned a thing or two. Comment down below, let me know what you think about this video, and also don't forget to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. Join the family, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.